first, we welcome in our friend Niger Innis, of course, the great civil rights leader and chief strategist for the TeaParty.net, a group that Niger says has itself been targeted by the IRS. Niger, great to talk to you, sir.
Hello, old friend. Good to be on with you again.
Well, it's my pleasure. Okay, so talk to me about the TeaParty.net. Talk about the group and talk about what it has faced or you have faced from the IRS.
Well, over a year ago, actually even before I was with the TeaParty.net, they were put under unbelievable scrutiny in applying for a 501c4. And as our attorney who handled this burdensome task asserted in a white paper that he did, it was much more like an audit than it was an application, a typical application request. The IRS asked a variety of burdensome questions, but the most troubling, perhaps the unconstitutional question that was asked, was about our donors, the political activity of our donors, who our donors were, what is going to run for political office. So in other words, what they were attempting to do was to intimidate our donors, to break up the bridge that exists between our donors and our organization, and that is a violation of our First Amendment rights of freedom of association and freedom of speech.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, as you're telling me this, Niger, Politico just ran with a story about Israel-related groups also
Yes.
have pointed to IRS scrutiny. And the leader of one organization involved, Z Street, which is, from what I believe, it's a tiny organization, but nonetheless, it's kind of like the opposite of J Street, which is a very liberal, left-wing Jewish group.
I'm very familiar with them.
And they filed a lawsuit against the IRS in 2010, alleging that one of its attorneys were told its application was delayed and sent to a quote-unquote special unit to determine whether the organization's activities contradict the administration's public policies. Not if they violate the law involved in becoming a nonprofit, but if they contradict the administration's policies.
Frightening. I mean, it makes you wonder, are we in the United States of America, or are we in Eastern Europe in the 60s and 70s, or in Germany in the 30s? It's disgusting. It's frightening. And look, I appreciate Obama reading from the teleprompter and the talking point that he apologizes, but we want a heck of a lot more than that. We will probably join Z Street and a number of other organizations and launch a class action lawsuit against the IRS for what is done here.
It is just incredible. And if you want to hear something, Niger, last week, I think the day before the hearings in Benghazi, Hillary got a big award, the Warren Christopher Award from some organization. The day after, and I might have them reversed, Susan Rice got a Great American Award from some organization. And irony of ironies here again, the woman in charge of the IRS division, Lois Lerner, the director for the IRS Exempt Organization Division, is getting an honorary tribute from Western New England University School of Law on Saturday. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
It is hysterical, and what I will say is this, Steve, that I believe the Congress has a responsibility to call up. To have as many hearings on the IRS situation and Benghazi. They need to call Susan Rice up to the stand to testify under oath to the Congress and basically ask one simple question. Who gave you the talking points and who instructed you from the White House or the State Department to go on these talk shows? As you know very well, Steve, you just don't go on these Sunday important Sunday news talk programs without approval or direction from the White House.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. So the question, and that's where the real sweet spot is in this particular crisis. who told her to go on, who directed her to go on, and who gave her this misinformation that she used to misinform and to lie to the American people.
I got one more for you before you go, Nigel. I want to get back to your organization that you speak for, the TeaParty.net. What's the status of the organization right now?
Right now, we still have an application pending. I believe we're actually trying to get 501c3 status. I believe our C4 status has been granted, at least to this organization or one of our sister organizations.
Have you been in touch with other Tea Party groups to, when you talk about joining a class action suit, have you been in touch with any specific groups or lawyers to further that?
We have, and we are continuing that dialogue. We haven't pulled the trigger just yet, but we are very seriously considering a class action lawsuit.
Have you been in contact with the IRS seeking some kind of I don't know, some kind of settlement with them in lieu of going into a lawsuit, or is that not a consideration?
No, we haven't been in touch with the IRS other than going through the Byzantine process of supplying them with all this type of documentation, much of which was not even necessary or even relevant to applying for a 501c4.
Well, you know, I don't see why every contributor's shoe size and neck size isn't relevant to you, Niger. I think that's very relevant. All right, listen, my friend, say hello to your great dad, Roy, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Steve. You take care.
Take care. That's Niger Innis, ladies and gentlemen, civil rights leader, of course, is Group CORE, Congress of Racial Equality, founded by his father, Roy.